Okay, we're in the kitchen today and I want to talk more on food and the sourcing of food, because I believe that a core responsibility of living as king in your own reality is the provision of food for, firstly, yourself, but secondly, the wider family unit. And as the family unit grows, that responsibility increases. Right now it's just me, wife, and the fur babies, but in time, all being well, that will grow. And I take food sourcing very seriously. It's something that I think is really important, because ultimately all of this is just energy. It's just fuel that we're going to be putting into, firstly, my body, but then the rest of the family unit's body. And it dictates our energy levels, which in turn dictates our productivity, our health, our overall vibrancy, well-being. And a lot of issues I think people face is they're just fueling their body incorrectly. And we're going to talk about what I choose as fuel. Obviously, this is just our approach. This is what we've dialed in over the last few years. And I didn't used to take this stuff seriously. And in a previous video, 22 Signs You're Living as an Adult Boy, one of the core tendencies of an adult boy is that they're not involved in the sourcing of their food, the producing of the food, and that's why they don't have the benefits of living as a king in their kingdom. And this is a core way, if you're not already doing this, it's a core way to indicate to yourself and the wider family unit that you are the provider, you are the king, you are the one. It has a lot of benefit to it. So we're going to get into it, and I'm just going to talk you through, as we go through these food items, I'm just going to share some values that you can apply and test for yourself. But we're going to get into it. This is organic ginger, love. The wife found this one into the cart, mainly because she was drinking ginger ale, which helps settle her stomach when she doesn't feel good, and we couldn't find a low sugar one. So this is a new addition, and what you're going to see here is, as I talk through the options, some of them are just absolutely guaranteed. They've been tested. We know they work for us. They know they fit our diet. Other things are experimental like this, and we test it on a couple of phases, couple of rounds to see if it makes the list full time. So that's going to be on the test list. This is maple syrup. I don't know where this actually comes from. It says somewhere in the US. This is definitely on the keep list. This is our main sugar source that is for the sweet taste, and obviously this is natural, comes from trees. And as we say on our cooking show, it's very easy for the body to understand this, so you're not going to have those massive glycemic spikes and all of that. And it tastes real good. So that's always in the cart. And all of this is from Costco, which I'll touch on in just a minute. But all of this today that I'm going to talk you through is Costco, but we do have other food that we'll be talking about in other videos. Into the fresh produce, first up is bananas. Just really easy, quick grab and goes. And the wife also uses these in lots of recipes, lots of desserts, sweet treats. She uses bananas as the base, so we always buy 6 pounds. I experimented with 9 pounds, but we had too many go off in the time frame, so always be testing. Other fresh produce, these are grapes, and they're not always on our definite list, mainly because, especially if you shop in wholesale, we can't get through the amount they sell, and then for the higher price point of buying in bulk, it doesn't make too much sense. But these were on a real good deal today, and I just fancied the grapes, and we're going to be putting them into juices if need be. Celery sticks, just classic, again, snacks, juices, pasta salads, very versatile, and they last a long time too. So this is usually every second cycle of shopping that we'll get these, which is good. This is a big bag of potatoes, just regular russets. This is actually a test for us because they're not on the clean 15. They're actually closer to the dirty 30, which is a value list from a company called EWG, correct, Tony? Yeah. Which is a company that tests produce from all over the world, and they dictate which types of produce you should absolutely buy organic, and others which you don't have to buy organic. They have the clean 15, which is produce like this, mangoes and avocados, which we'll get into just here. That even though we actually bought these organic today, you don't have to, and the reason for that is because after they test them enough, there's not as many pesticides, herbicides, all of that nonsense that your body doesn't want to be consuming. It's going to have downstream health effects years from now or more recent, so paying attention to those lists makes a big difference, and it's a really easy filter to put on your grocery haul as to what you should be buying, organic and not organic. And if you're not into the organic thing, maybe I could do a whole other video on that. But if you start farming and you start to grow your own plants, you'll realize organic is the way. You'll feel so much better after it. And if you do it for a long time, the compound effect is very noticeable. You're going to have higher nutrient count, more nutrient dense, taste way better. You're going to feel more energetic off organic. But using those lists from the EWG helps you put a filter on which ones definitely buy and which ones that you can go non-organic. We've got mushrooms. Love these. Get them on the barbecue, salads, all sorts. Apples, I know that for a fact these are on the Dirty 30, so we only ever buy organic apples. If we get gifted non-organic apples somewhere along the way, the dog usually gets them. I trust the dog's stomach biome over mine to get through all of the spraying. And in America, food is very different to Europe. Apples come with a coat of wax on. Just a lot of problems with the non-organic version and a lot of this stuff. So you have to be wary of that. There's different health and food standards across the world. America has very profit-driven standards, shall we say, where they can get away with putting pretty much what they want in, because they're allowed to. Okay, next up we've got carrots, and Costco sells a massive bag of organic carrots. I think this is £5, £6 of carrots, and it's under $5. Crazy. These also last a really long time in the fridge. They make great just pick up snacks, again used in juices. Wife uses them in sweet treats, and the dog loves them as a snack. Lovely, lovely. Probably one of the greatest benefits of Costco is the coffee. I mean, this is organic Velvet Moon espresso roast, which is really nice. Very versatile, pretty much an everyday drinker, never get bored of it. And this is a £2 bag for like $11, which is wild. That's why if you buy in bulk, you rarely ever sulk. Especially on coffee, it works out to be like 15 cents a espresso shot, which is just nuts. And it lasts us 2 weeks, maybe 4 weeks. I don't know, it depends how many coffees we're having. We don't eat too many carbs as a family. We're not really big on carbs. But the two that we do eat are these. These are just rice noodles, the ramen style. Very versatile, go in lots of different dishes. And then these are chickpea rotinis. So it's pasta, but it's chickpea. And the reason that we don't eat too many carbs is because a lot of the carbs that you can access in this world are grains, and the human body, at least from my understanding and experience, doesn't do too well with grains. We do eat rice, obviously that's rice there, and we do have just regular rice, but we don't eat it too often because a lot of the grains are also manipulated, a lot of GMO going on with the grains. So if you can avoid them and test, see how it works well for us. And it's an easy way to stay leaner because carbs can be difficult to process. I already touched on this, but we do have a 6-pack of mangoes here. It's probably my favorite fruit. Just love them, man. Just great. And I think looking at mangoes makes me feel good. There's something to be said about the way that food appears in your kitchen. If you've got loads of boxes, processed food, I don't think that resonates at the same frequency, whereas fresh mangoes, I mean, look at that thing. Look at that with the orange on and the red. Beautiful. Love it. These little stickers, these are grain-free chips. The Siete brand, these people do a lot of grain-free stuff for the same reason. They have their story on the back of the bag, but for the same reason that they struggled with health issues and conditions when they cut out grain, their life got better. So I would experiment. If you've never eaten a grain-free diet for a few days, a few weeks consistently, I would recommend trying it. And it's a really easy way, again, a filter that you can put up to get rid of a lot of processed foods because they rely heavily on grains because they're cheap, easy to mass produce. Gluten-free in general, as the wife has said behind camera there, is an easy way to get rid of a lot of processed food because you'll notice that once they make it gluten-free, it's a lot more expensive, so they can't mass produce it. So that's the, I guess, produce sort of, and that's really all it is produce, except for these three here and the drinks. But we're going to get into I have a cooler bag down here. We're going to get into the meat choices. So the first two that we've got here.
You want me to make more room?
Yeah, you can make more room for me, please. Good job. Right, so these two are both. This is from the organic section. Sourcing is very important, and I don't know specifically where Costco sources it from. This is Kirkland. That's the brand. That's like the Costco brand. But these say they're organic pasture raised, which, again, that commercial code can be manipulated by companies to where you don't actually really know what that means. But it tastes good. I feel good after eating it. And it's definitely the most expensive chicken you can get in the store. And that's another good filter that you can put on when you're buying meat. Really anything, because the more it costs, the better it usually is. But when you're buying meat, always try to get the most expensive cuts that you can. I don't want to use the word afford. It's like if it goes into your budget or your overall picture. But that's what these are. So we've got the drumstick version and then the party wings, first, second, and sections. And these are real good on the grill. If you haven't watched the grill and lift video, these chicken wings, that's what we use a lot for those. Real good. And then the drumsticks are more just filler, easy to cook, and really affordable. I can't believe that. It's only $10 for those 3 packs. That's crazy. That's $2 a pound. It's nuts. Very cheap. Next up, we got plain Greek yogurt, 2 of them. Again, lots of protein in here. This is a new addition. Catherine is working on improving both of our gut biomes, and there's a lot of good chat about probiotic yogurts like this. So we're going to be adding that into the diet for the next couple of weeks and seeing how we go, seeing how it impacts our digestion, our overall energy. But again, just mad cheap. Costco is very, very affordable. I think I don't really have relative prices, and we happily invest our energy into food because it's the fuel that fuels us. But I just think that's crazy affordable. We got next up the cheese. This is our only block of cheese. This is also from grass-fed cows. Remember that what your animal eats is what you're eating. So if you're eating grain-heavy products from animals that have eaten a grain-heavy diet, you're going to be getting those issues. And I like the idea of cows eating grass. It's what they're supposed to eat. Catherine, what do you call this one?
Dubliner.
Catherine calls this one the Dubliner, but obviously for the European savvy of us, this is the Dubliner. It's from Kerrygold, which is an Irish company. Real good. $11.88. It should realistically last us 3 weeks, but with Catherine's cheese antics at times, sometimes it's only 10 days. But
Yogurt was $5.99.
$5.99 a one. We're going to add the prices on as well after. It's alright. Same sort of thing here. These are grass-fed beef patties. They come in third-pound patties. And this is good because typically per meal, I'll eat 0.66 pounds of meat and Catherine will eat a third of a pound, making up a whole pound, which you can get with the pre-packed packages, but this is just an easy way to portion it. It's also easy to do them on the grill. And I like these. We've been having these for a good minute. Really easy if you've got people coming over for a grill, portioning them out. And again, I think it's $27 for 15 burgers, 5 pounds of meat, grass-fed. It's a deal, and we're taking it. We're into the... we'll finish off with this. He said probably the cheekiest part of our entire shopping. Catherine found these maybe 2 weeks ago, and she had a craving for them, chicken nuggets specifically. So we found, again, the same filter, the most expensive ones we could find. These ones are from a company called Purdue, and they have pretty good ingredients. They have guar gum in, which we're not super fond of, but at this ratio, it's going to be fine. But we were paying about 3 times the amount per pound as we could get these from Costco, and I'd never seen them there before, so I was like, get them in. Daytime snacks, all that. Gluten-free. Antibiotic-free, so probably as good as you can get for chicken nuggets. And then we're into frozen fruit. We've got strawberries here, blueberries here. Again, mandatory organic. Any soft fruit, mandatory to be organic. They have, other than fresh lettuce greens, they have the highest percent of pesticides, herbicides, insecticides out of any other food category. So these are mandatory. I would never eat now at this stage of my life non-organic soft fruits because I know how heavily they're sprayed, and if you go down the path of growing your own fruit and vegetables, you'll realize why, because they're very difficult to keep alive. So I'm always super grateful to pay the premium on these, and if you compare non-organic soft fruits with organic, the organic version can be up to 3.5 times more expensive, but that's just a spiritual thing that you have to work through to realize that you're actually saving so much money to get that. If you try to grow it yourself, it's really difficult, and again, you don't have the downstream impact of consuming all of that stuff that you don't want to consume. And then last up, 5 pounds of corn. Still, the jury's still out for me on corn. I've read different studies, and obviously the corn-fed animals I know is not good, but I don't notice any negative downside to eating it at the scale that we eat it. It's obviously extremely affordable, and it goes well with a lot of dishes, adds a lot of flavour to guacs, pasta salads, all that. Real good. It's organic. It kind of just is what it is. So that's just one haul. This is just a classic trip to Costco. It will look very similar to this for us most times that we go, because I like to be a resourceful dude, a resourceful king, and I like to waste. And even though I have the resources to just blast and buy whatever and all of that, I take great joy in knowing that all of this is accounted for, all of it's good for us, all of it will be eaten and consumed, none of it will go to waste. And I know that the net product of all of this for Catherine and I is high energy, feeling good, good digestion, and pretty much guilt-free living. You know, there's no bad meal that you can make with these ingredients to where you're gonna need to lie down for half an hour and not feel good. So I just wanted to share some thoughts on food. I believe that food is a main wall to the box that can keep men from living as the highest version of themselves, the king version of themselves, because if you're not fueling your body right, it's going to be real difficult to get anything right, because it's like putting the wrong fuel in a car and expecting it to run efficiently. It's just not going to work. It's not going to be optimal. So I wanted to make this video to just share what it is that we get from Costco, with the intention of inspiring you to think differently about food, share some filters that you can put on food, share some value structures that you can take away and start to build and learn this, because I didn't know any of this. My mum used to just do all the shopping, and when I was a good little boy, I'd just eat what she gave me. And then when I reflected on and looked at some of the food choices that she made, they didn't align with my health pyramid. They didn't resonate with my body, clearly. I had some health issues from that. So I was grateful to receive the food, but as I grew up into a man taking responsibility, I had to change a lot of this, and I had to relearn how to feed not only me, but the rest of the family as well. And it's something I do take great joy in, and I like doing it. It's a big part of life, isn't it? Food and fuel. So if you have any questions or comments, we could probably do another video on the food that we grow. We also have different sources. This isn't the only food that we eat, but it's a big part of it. And for $247, I think this is a right haul. I think it's a real print. And I'm grateful that you've watched all the way to this point. Thank you very much for watching. Stay free and live as the king you are meant to be, and we'll see you next time. Much love. Peace.